Well, some of that was right. Well, first of all, it's been said before, but I'll say it again. Thank you. Thank you to you, the 40,000 odd People's Army that got 4 million people to tell an out-of-touch old Etonian government we want a say. The same People's Army who got 17.4 million to say, get us out. That's a hell of a job. Well done, I'm not very good with these. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Bad luck. A little bit about me. I will touch on it because you've got the right to sit there and say, as Nigel famously asked of Herr von Grumpy, who are you? My name, yes, is Ernie Warrender. I went to a grammar school. Do you remember them? Yeah. Pretty good system. It wasn't perfect, but all I know is that when we had it, we were kind of up here, and now we're off there. Number 27, I think. And a wonderful lady called Dame Shirley Williams. It gets better. Shot off to America in the war, apparently, came back, sent her kids to St Paul's and Eton, and abolished the grammar school system. The system that gave me, and kids like me, whose parents didn't have two halfpence to rub together, opportunity. And introduced me to socialism, ladies and gentlemen. The redistribution of wealth and knowledge. You've got yours, I've got mine. You redistribute yours and I'll have a bit more. Yeah. I left school with nothing. And my father, in desperation, got me a job in the City of London. I mention this to put your mind at rest. The city ain't going nowhere. Despite the EU's constant undermining of the City of London over the past years to attract people to the bright lights of Frankfurt, Maastricht, Strasbourg, I think they do 1 week in 4, the MEPs will tell you. No. 3 reasons. English, the language of international business. Secondly, the time. London sits at 0 o'clock. As the markets in certain parts of the world are drawing to a close, other markets open. We are that bridge. We are America's gateway to Europe, and would they but open their eyes, Europe's gateway to America. Lastly, the social life. People want to be in London. They can work anywhere in the world, yeah? Anywhere. They choose to be in London and pay our taxes. Sometimes I think the whole world wants to be in London. It is the place to be. When the head of the largest French hedge fund and the chief of the Bundesbank both say, no, London's here to stay, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I, unfortunately, touching on something that Ray spoke about, it was a 3-day week. Do you remember that? The government turned they turned the electric off Tuesdays and Thursdays, and as they just electrified the main line in, it made it a bit tricky to pursue my career. So unfortunately, the dole wasn't an option, so I just went knocking on doors. I did gardening, builder's labourer, drove trucks, worked in shops. I got myself on a little course. I even worked the odd night on the doors in Plymouth. Anyone in from Plymouth? Yes, I thought I recognised you. And I eventually ended up on the assembly line at Ford's in Dagenham. And I tell you this because it introduced me to a couple of things. I went on strike for 6 weeks with the Transport and General Workers Union. And you had to go to the meetings. And at those meetings, it introduced me to this nasty fascist side of the Labour Party. There were groups, no, not groups, gangs. There were gangs of people going around those meetings, jabbing you in the back, making you vote. And when we went on strike in those picket lines, it introduced me to the Labour Party. But it didn't actually, because it's a long way from Islington to Dagenham, and no one came. And say what you will about Tony Blair. I thought we'd abolish TV from this country. He did keep a lid on that nasty element that we saw re-emerging in Stoke, in particular, recently. Anyway, I then went to Australia, because there was nothing in England, 3-day week, no apprenticeships, hopefully the same pet, and they had enough of me very quick. And I came back to a squat in London, got a job, set my own company up, and now employ nearly 100 people, some say despite me. And I am honoured to be your spokes for small business, ladies and gentlemen. Small business that is 5.5 million companies functioning registered in the UK. 99% of all companies registered in the UK. 15.5 million people working in them. Small business which is HMRC's cash cow. Oh yes. No scuttling off to the Virgin Islands and then telling us how to live, eh? No popping round for tea and buns with George and Dave to negotiate 2% corporation tax rates. No, we pay, and we pay. And I firmly believe that he who pays the piper should at least have a say. I'm working very closely, thank you. I'll speak from a bit of personal. I'm working very closely with people at the Federation of Small Businesses on systems to try and get rid of this late payment that is endemic actually in a lot of British business. £26 billion is held in bank accounts not paid, and it should be. 50,000 businesses go to the wall every year. Not because they're bad businesses, they just couldn't get their cash in. The cost of employment, and I differentiate between the cost of wages. There are a big difference. The cost of employment is high, ladies and gentlemen. We now have to provide the pensions because the government spent it all up the wall, that's the word. Yeah. We've got minimum wage, living wage, all of these things, ladies and gentlemen. And small business, 5% of small businesses have any truck with the EU. 100% are manacled with its red tape, its diktats, its directives. However, wages have gone down. Wages have been compressed. How does that work? I'll give you a classic example. I was very honoured to stand as the prospective Member of Parliament for Weston-super-Mare. And two guys came in off a building site, painters and decorators. They walked in our shop. We had a shop opposite the college. That was fun. And they said to me, oh, we've been on £10.20 an hour. I said, oh, well done. They said, no, we've been called into the office, it's minimum wage. I said, how do you mean? He said, well, a team of people have come into the country and they'll do it for minimum wage. One bloke said, I can't cope. I've got my family to keep, I've got council tax to pay, I've got a car to run. And the other guy said, I'm going on dole, I don't care. I've had nothing going on benefits. That's wage compression in real life, ladies and gentlemen. I believe Neil touched on the Labour Party's disarray over Europe back in the 70s. And again, I totally agree. I remember a wonderful quote from Tony Benn calling the EU a neoliberal train crash waiting to happen. And if ever you go on YouTube, there is the most passionate and wonderful speech by a guy called Peter Shaw. I think it's the Oxford University debate, and it'll take your breath away, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, did anybody go to the Bolton conference? Yeah. Brilliant. I was honoured to speak at the Bolton conference, and I witnessed the turning of the page, ladies and gentlemen. Nigel came, and he was awesome. He was Nigel, no script, not even a little bit of paper like that. And what Nigel said is, we must always be radical. We are the thoughts and the conscience and the voice of 17.4 million people. Never forget that. That is our responsibility. And then Paul Nuttall came on, our leader, and a bloke stood there, gave a speech. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. He stood there, he'd been through hell and back in Stoke. The gentlemen of the press had stuck their telephoto lenses where no telephoto lens could boldly go. Paul Nuttall, I campaigned for Paul. He has put together a true meritocracy, of which some might say I'm the exception that proves the rule. Peter Whittle, the world's busiest politician. Every time I turn the telly on, look at the internet, listen to the radio, there's Peter, erudite, crisp, to the point, representing UKIP. William Dartmouth, Suzanne Evans, And then there is the man that some call the smiling assassin, because he does smile, whilst he's presided over, I think, in 6 months, a couple of leadership elections, several resignations, punch-ups. The man they call our chair, Paul Oakden. I'm sure he won't mind me having a dig. We have a great team. There is someone there for everybody. You know, when we come to this next election, because I view Stoke as our Macmillan moment. It has bought us 3 years, ladies and gentlemen, and we must use that 3 years to good effect, because it's been touched on before. Okay, UKIP, you've got your vote. What's the score? What's to do? You have to ask the people, what do they want? Do they want an opposition party that just opposes, because it's called the opposition, from their villas in Islington? When I listen to Lady Nugent, sorry, Emily Thornbury, on BBC saying, well, the shadow cabinet is a work in progress. No, it's a failed project. The people want an opposition that goes to an out-of-touch government and says, the people want to say. An opposition that goes to an out-of-touch government and says, hold on a second, we want decent schooling for our kids, we want grammar schools back. Oh, amazingly, the Tory party, who told me 10 years ago they would have no truck with grammar schools, they're going to have grammar schools. Do they want an opposition that goes to an out-of-touch government and says, we want a national health service, fully funded, free at point of need, national? And that same government recently says, I think we'll charge people for coming in this country and using the health service. What do you think? We are the voice and the aspirations of 4 million people sat on the edge of their chairs, waiting and watching to see our next move. I've done a couple of things which, I've purloined a corner of William Dartmouth's stand out there, and I've put 500 forms there. We want your opinion and your input. The South West Policy Group is doing some phenomenal work, but if I might corrupt Churchill, it is the people who control the party, not the party, the people. That's how it is in UKIP, anyway. Please go and take those forms, and also, while you're there, buy William's book on trade out of the EU and into the world. It's a brilliant book, written several years ago, and such is the quality of its content, it still holds good, ladies and gentlemen. I've also put together a simple little Excel spreadsheet, because we must have data. We must have information. You've all got council elections coming up. Go out, little Excel spreadsheet that you can all have, and it'll just say title, name, address, email, phone number, and a box. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. UKIP, Tory, Liberal, remember them? Labour. Just put that numbers in the box and keep the data. Excel will migrate easily to anything. Lastly, while we're on the subject of these local elections, never forget that these parties, all of them, but I particularly aim my guns at the Liberal Democrats. When I stood in Bath, I listened to Don Foster, member for Bath, ex-teacher, spokesman for education, swear blind in front of 4,000 students, I will sign your pledge. There will be no student fees. You know what's coming, don't you? You've heard this one before. Oh, you've elected me, have you? Right, that's lovely. Right, well done. Excellent. They stole our children's future. I have 2 daughters going to university. £120,000 debt. The deposits for their houses, ladies and gentlemen, gone. For what? For what? Lastly, I'm working very closely with Ray Finch, housing spokesman. We have a housing crisis. Like it or lump it, we do. We only have to look back in history, and this is what annoys me. As the only National Party spokes for small business who knows full well where we have been, who knows where we are, and has a vision for where we are going. All of the others, the Minister, Margot James, the Shadow, SNP, all Remainers stroke Remainiacs. They don't know where we are, they haven't got a clue. They're still recovering. They sure as heck don't know where we're going. Yeah, last time, to wind up, we had a problem like this. We solved it with the prefabs. Do you remember it? Modular, modern housing that took people out of horrible old houses that had no sanitation. We can build these modular houses in British factories using British technology and British labour. We can deliver a solution quickly that doesn't impinge upon the housing market that people have slaved to get as their pension pot. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you've been brilliant putting up with me. It is now union tea break, okay?